Helmseye.
Welcome. I'm going to be playing Star Traders Frontiers today. I think I've done about 12 hours of this and I love it. So I hope that by you looking at what I'm doing, you too will come to want to love it like I do. This is a game by the Treese Brothers, or Treese Brothers, sorry if I've said that wrong. I've got two other games by them, Templar Battle Force and Heroes of Steel. Really enjoyed those, really enjoyed Templar Battle Force. And for me that was kind of a bit of a Space Hulk sort of type game, and I love those. With a really good story. And now Star Traders Frontiers for me is kind of Elite Dangerous 2D, but in my opinion there are elements of this game that are far superior. The stories are really good. So let's start with a new captain. What you can see here is that you obviously have the choice of being able to take 4 main types of character so far. I think there's more to be added later on. This game is still in development, but it's quite far along in its development. And I'm going to actually do my own type of character. I'm going to go for an explorer type, so I'm going to do a new template. As you can see, if I click on explorer here, you know, they work out your attributes and skills, which as you'll see will have an impact on how you play. It's also interesting to note, I haven't really seen this of another game that I can think of, but your contacts have quite a big part in this. So you can see here you've got a nice list of politician, weapon dealer, fixer, retired explorer, spice trader, smuggler. So you can actually choose the type of contacts you have, and that will have quite an effect on the game, in the type of missions that you get to do, and also buying and selling, which is another fun part of this game. I have to say buying and selling involves adding up, so being dyslexic and dyspraxic, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm actually going to do a very good job of that, but let's see how we get on. So we're going to do a new template. I'm going to go for the explorer type, and you get a little bit of an overview here. So it's telling you that your explorer, or job rank 3, you get the starting skills, obviously explore, and then electronics and tactics, and you're also adventurous and a device freak. So those will have a bit of an effect as we play along. I obviously start at level 6, and I have 3 officers. I have level 3 officers, so you'll see that depending on the size of ship is how many officers you get, and also level 2 crew. So that's what I get for that. As you see, if you go for different types, you'll see that essentially at this point in the game anyway, its development, everyone gets the same, but the type of ships they get can sometimes change. So talking of ships, so we've got an option here of what type of ship you have. So you've got these big boys, and they cost 550,000 credits. But as you can see, we're being told our credit limit is 375,000. But you'll notice that each ship will have different characteristics in the size, the type of armour, and the maximum number of crew. Now, obviously, it's good to have crew, but obviously, the more crew you have, funnily enough, the more money you're going to have to spend out in wages. Because yes, you do have to pay people's wages in this game. And that's another fun part of it for me. So for an explorer, what you'll find is that it does seem to be that the Frontier Liner or the Galtac Freighter are kind of the ones that suit what we want to do the most. What you do notice is if you spend less than the 375,000, we get 20% of that remaining budget as a starting bonus. Now that's useful because it's always good to have money in the bank, but also it means you can save up to upgrade some of the features. So another real fun part of this game for me, as you'll see, is that each ship obviously has different characteristics and different types of weapon systems, different rooms, different types of reactors to power this ship, etc. And you can upgrade those with cash at certain planets. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be a little bit dull. I'm going to go for a Frontier Liner. And you can see this means I get 5 officers. So remember, they'll be level 3 because we saw that in the beginning. And I'm going to have 30 crew. And again, you'll see that they're level 2. So we will have the option to see what kind of skills we can give them. And we get a little bit of a background here. So it's a common long-haul Star Trader's hull. The Frontier liner is responsible for the discovery of many settled worlds, famous for being the hull design used by the first Star Trader explorers who set out from the hive ships. The Frontier liner has a storied history, armed with Hellfire torpedoes, and the Frontier liner carries 20 crew. Well, in this case, it looks like we've got 30. So we now have got the contacts. Now the contacts is very interesting, and I can't claim at all to really know how good or bad this is going to be, depending on what you want to do, because I haven't played enough of it. But I like to role play when I'm doing a game, so I think that an explorer would know a smuggler. They would definitely know merchants. I think for fun, they would definitely know a retired explorer, probably the reason they're exploring in the first place. And I think it's always useful to have someone who has a bit more of an interesting story behind them. So I'm going to say that we have an intelligence officer as a contact, because of our shady past we've probably come across some kind of character like that, and that will just make things quite interesting. And you'll see that with each one of these, it does give you an idea of what the contacts will give you. So obviously we get missions. They can give us different types of rank. Let's see what that does. Trade permits, that's quite important. Some can offer black market access, so that's quite useful if you find things like spice, which apparently are illegal. And also you get special recruits potentially for staffing the ship, so you can choose between officers and normal crew sometimes, depending where you are. And this one of course allows us to buy intelligence data, but also if we come across intelligence we can sell it. So anyway, there we are. So that's what we're going to go for. That's our contacts. Now our attributes. Now what I've decided to do is I would like to roleplay someone who's quite a charmer. So you see we've got 28 points to spend. So I'm going to put my charisma up to 20. I think it's good to have a bit of wisdom. I always view wisdom as the application of knowledge. So let's go for say 15 in wisdom. And also I think to get this far in the world you have to be a little bit quick, and you definitely have to be a little bit tough. So we've got 1 point left, so I think what we'll do is we'll go for not being strong, but we'll go for being a little bit resilient. So there we are. Now, skills. At this point, there are no skills. But it seems that later on, as you'll see as we go through the game, we'll actually have the ability to increase or decrease these. So I'm not sure why at the moment it's got the skills on there. I don't know if perhaps as the game progresses in its development, maybe you'll have a choice of being able to pick skills up. We'll wait and see on that one. So you then have a chance to save the template. So what we'll do is we'll do that, and we'll call it the Helmseye template. And save that. So we're ready to launch. So what we're going to be able to do now is choose what we look like. So yes, I'm going to be boring, I'm going to be male, and I'd like to show you that there's quite a lot to choose from here. But what we'll do is, I've got somebody in mind which is kind of the old Helmseye type looking guy. So a bit old and wizened, a bit like me. So we'll go for someone who's got a bit of a practical uniform, I think. Someone who explores. There we are. Now we also have the choice of maps. You can create new maps. So generate a new map which will be shared between captains or with friends via the map seed. That sounds really exciting. I'm actually just going to pick the default map, but you can see already how this game appears to look like it can be really, really customizable, which, you know, I love that idea. And then we've got choice of factions. So by default it's saying we join the Kadar faction, which is kind of militaristic. But I'm actually going to pick Javat because the Javat is actually a clan to do with mining and refinery and a bit industrial. And the reason I'd like to do that is because for me that is where really we're going to be looking at. He's an explorer, and what is the best way to be paid as an explorer? Surely it's got to be finding new mining sites. That's what I think. So I'm going to pick Clan Javat, and I'm going to keep it on the basic difficulty. And I am going to pick this one here, manually assign talents, so that as we launch we can then go into the talents as well. So as it loads up, what we'd like to do is explain a little bit more about how the maps go after you've seen a little bit of this dialogue. So I don't want to spoil the game for you too much, so it'd be nice for you to be able to go through the dialogue yourself. Just to say at this point that obviously we've had the opportunity to become a captain, and we've taken that option. And the way it starts is that we have a choice of being able to actually take someone from one place to another, which will lead to some kind of political intrigue. So we'll stop there, and I look forward to talking to you more now in the next episode about how we travel from planet to planet and what we do on each planet.
Helmseye.